welcome to Southridge Films Creative Cafe, where we talk about our creative lives over a cup of coffee. My name is Ryan Sheets, and I am a filmmaker. Who are you guys?
I'm Janae Muchmore. I'm a storyteller.
My name is Connor Udvardy. I am a musician.
Ooh. As a musician, you feeling this funk?
I'm feeling the funk.
Let's get funky. All right. So this is not actually the first episode of this, you know.
It's not.
This is the second episode. But, you know, that's fine. The first episode didn't really play out as expected, which is fine. It's fine. That happens sometimes.
Live and learn.
Okay, so let's give a little description of what this is. Basically, Southridge Films is, if you haven't heard the news, Nautical Films is now Southridge Films. So,
I'll do it.
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
Okay.
amazing! Even Leota wants in on this action.
I'll even do the Dumbledore clap.
Oh, the Dumbledore clap. That's amazing. So, yes, Southridge Films is what we are now. This was a decision that Janae, myself, and Jeff all made. If you want to...
I'm not Jeff, by the way.
You are not Jeff. That is Connor.
Yes.
If you are interested in following Jeff, you can find him and his channel on Nautical TV, as well as you can follow his podcast...
Unapologetically Stupid.
Unapologetically Stupid. Great podcast, great people. We love everybody with Nautical TV, and we love their podcast. So basically, we're going to be talking about our creative lives. As you heard, I'm a filmmaker, Janae's a storyteller, Connor is a musician. We're all from different walks of life, but when it comes to creativity and kind of doing our own individual crafts, there's a lot of similarities that I think we can all kind of benefit. So anyway,
She's so funny.
This is so hard. So basically, the basis, this is called a Creative Cafe because we're doing all this over a cup of coffee, and we're recording this pretty late today, so I am the only one with actual coffee, but we're all going to go around the table, talk about what we're drinking right now.
I kept the breakfast theme.
Yes, she did. We'll get to that in a second. I am drinking James Coffee Night Owl Blend. Yummy. Janae.
Yum.
Chocolate milk, brought to you by Hershey's Chocolate Syrup.
Oh, so that homemade choco milk.
Yes.
Yeah, she got the chalky milk.
Well, I didn't plan this, but this is gonna... I have the bottle. I'm drinking whiskey. This is the bottle that I'm drinking. I found a tiny little bottle of Blanton's, which is a good bourbon, and that's what I'm drinking. It's by the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and it's real good.
That sounds pretty cool.
Is that a distillery in Nashville?
It's in Kentucky. There's a whole thing where, if it's made in Tennessee, you can call it Tennessee whiskey if you do some certain process of making it. If it's in Kentucky and you're making an American whiskey, you can call it bourbon based on certain things. People would argue that bourbon is only made in Kentucky, but that's not true. It's a whole thing. But
damn.
This is a bourbon made in Kentucky.
Okay.
The more you know.
that is a lot of information to digest.
There's a lot of snobs out there in the whiskey world, so we're not gonna deal with that.
There's a lot of coffee snobs too. That's fine.
I drink it because it tastes yummy.
So let's start off this episode. We haven't really. I'm changing the format a little bit because originally we were just kind of general conversation. I do want to bring up kind of a prompt. I want to bring up a prompt.
Give it to me.
So one of the most important aspects of being a creative mind is pushing yourself and driving yourself and finding different ways to challenge yourself to take your craft to the next step, the next level. So that's what I want to talk about today. What are we doing to push ourselves to the next step? So who wants to go first? You want me to go first?
Go first, buddy.
Yeah, I need to think about it a little bit actually.
All right, I'll go first. So recently, filmmaker, you know, if you're a fan of nautical films, you've seen my stuff. I love horror films. I am a huge horror guy, and I love doing all kinds of horror films. And recently, I came across this this film contest to make a film in one take. No cuts, no edits, no hidden cuts, nothing. It all has to be in one take, and it can be up to 8 minutes long. It's called the one take challenge. So I instantly was like, that's a way to challenge myself. I've never really even done a long take. Like I want to do this long take film, and I really started thinking about this and how I wanted to go about doing it. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna push myself out even further. I'm going to do a specific genre. You know, obviously I'm gonna do some horror, but I'm gonna do sci-fi horror, like really, really inspired by Alien. And I wrote this script that takes place in an escape pod, and it's really simple. There's not a whole lot of action, but so much happens in the script, and it's only going to take place in this escape pod. And I think the big challenge that I want to do is, you know, not only make this one shot, but I also want to build a set of an escape pod, challenge myself to do something I've never done, which is actually construct my own set. And on top of that, I usually, you know, rely on scary images and stuff like that for horror. I'm going to do the complete opposite of that. In this film, the sound is going to be what scares you, because you're only going to hear the alien, and it's not a xenomorph. I mean, you're never going to see it, so just fill in the gaps. Whatever you want it to be. But you're only going to hear this thing moving around in the ship. The tension is going to come from sound rather than sight. So it's all going to take place in this one pod. It's all going to be one shot, and you're never going to see it. And I want to try to make it I want this to be the most suspenseful film I have ever made, and do it completely through audio and not visual. So I mean, this is a huge step outside of my comfort zone. I've never done any project like this, and I could not be more excited for it. So that is how I'm pushing myself. You guys both, you squeakers, you guys both read the script. Give me your honest feedback. Don't pander to me.
I've already given you my honest feedback. I really do think it's unique to be able... I mean, I think the idea of doing this in an escape pod and not leaving the escape pod really lends itself to the one-shot contest.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're never changing location.
Right.
And you can stay on that character the whole time and on her movements. So I think it's going to be really dynamic, and I'm looking forward to working on that with you.
What about you, buddy?
So, I mean, when you sent me the script, this was before I knew that you were gonna use this film to submit to the one-shot contest, and I told you, like, right after reading the script, like, I was literally gonna say you should do this for the one-shot contest, and then you told me that you're going to, and I think it's the perfect setting. You're in one space.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like a small space, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think what I'm really excited for in film, like the way that you know people refer to it is motivated movement. The camera gets motivated by something in the scene to move, and this entire film is going to be motivated movement, because it's not going to be just one lockdown shot of this girl in an escape pod. You know, I'm going to follow her hands as she messes with the controls, and when something is above her, you know, pan up to the ceiling. Every single movement in this film is going to be caused by something. everything is motivated movement. So that alone, just I'm so excited for that because it's, like I said, it's all new territory for me, but I am all about just pushing myself and trying to become the best filmmaker I can be.
And I think the fact that you're gonna, base all the tension and suspense around the sound is, that's probably really, really difficult to do. I wouldn't know. I haven't really done it, but I commend you for that, and I know that's probably not easy, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like when you are only relying on audio, you also kind of have the upper hand because jump scares aren't scary because the second that something pops up into the screen, you know what it is. It has revealed itself.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, it's the Jaws mentality. Hide the shark. Don't show the shark. Wait to show the shark. So the more you don't know what's coming, the more you don't see it, the scarier it is because your mind is filling in those blanks. You are trying to process what could it be? What does this thing look like? It sounds big. It has a shrill scream. Like it's so you can start to piece that that together in your brain what it would be. So I'm excited for it. I'm gonna start building the set real soon. My coworker actually just told me this is really awesome. Anyone in Central Florida, I didn't know about this. There's this store called Skycraft.
Yeah, Skycraft.
And basically it is this place that just sells a bunch of just junk, like electronic junk, like little stuff that you would throw away, like buttons and switches and all the stuff that you would need for a spaceship. So So I think the way that I want to do it is I want to build the outer shell out of like foam board, that big thick foam board that you can get from like a Lowe's or something, and
a Home Depot, if you will.
I don't know how we're gonna transport that.
You're gonna need a bigger Jeep.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a bigger Jeep. So
we're gonna need something that's not a Jeep.
A U-Haul.
Hey,
So
yeah.
So yeah, I want to build the outer portions of it out of foam if I can. I would prefer not to use wood just because it's so much heavier, but I do want to try it out of foam and then build all of the pieces. Plus if you have foam as your background, if a piece has a sharp edge, you can just stick it in there, and then I ain't going anywhere. So
right.
So yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Everybody's excited. Also, let's just take a moment. Look at that Jaws, or not Jaws, Jurassic Park bottleneck. Oh, so cool. That is absolute art right there.
It's pretty great.
I love it so much.
It's
so it is wonderful. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next because we
All right,
usually work
Janae.
on projects together.
Radio.
Yeah.
Is this about your switch to the dark side?
Well, it will be in a second.
Okay.
But I usually leave kind of all the creative stuff to Ryan because he comes up with these out of this world ideas.
But
Yep. And I really just try to help make his vision come to life however I can in the background, behind the scenes.
you know what that title is called, right? Producer.
I thought you were just going to say girlfriend.
No. That makes you the producer. Jeez.
Produce.
Well, I always let you kind of, run the show, and I just do whatever I can to help. And, yeah, I mean, I kind of just let everything come from you, get the direction from you, and then, yeah, produce it. So outside of work, well, even sometimes at work, I don't feel very creative. So I guess my challenge is to start building more confidence in my creativity, because I always say I'm not creative. I'm not creative at all. But Ryan constantly disagrees with me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great to have the support back that I give him, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm sometimes just there. However,
I'm right there with you, because it's one thing to have someone tell you that like you're creative, but you got to believe it for yourself.
yeah.
And sometimes it can be extremely hard to actually believe that people are telling you the truth. I
Right.
find very often when it comes to like your work, like all of my films, you know, my mom says she loves them and they're fantastic because she has to.
Right.
And it's sometimes it's hard to break that mentality. When I get somebody of like, you know, who definitely like holds a candle, you know, that's why when I tweeted Alone to Ryan Connolly and he actually reviewed it, that meant a lot, you know.
For sure.
He gave me actual criticism. Like he was like, you should have done this, and this, but you did this, and this right. And I'm like, that is what I need.
That's what you need. Yeah.
So, so yeah, I definitely I get where you're coming from when you say like it's difficult. It's difficult to feel creative.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It definitely is. And then I guess the second thing I'm kind of working on too, and I think this will help with building my confidence, is I've never met someone who knows the inner workings of a camera like you do. And I have very much, I love having a camera in my hand and I can create great content, but 9 times out of 10, I just throw it in auto and call it a day and let the camera do the work.
Yeah.
When really I should be the one pushing the camera to its limits.
Mm-hmm.
You should be driving the car.
I've just never taken the time to, you know, learn the ins and outs. Like
I say
Ryan
as this Canon R6 is on autofocus.
hey, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean I'm moving around, so I need autofocus.
Yeah, I'm not like so much talking about. It's
No,
just
I know,
all
I
the
know.
other settings are also in auto. So I'm really trying to break that habit and learn more about video cameras as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's taken some time, because some days I end up shooting something and I try it in manual and it looks like garbage. I get frustrated and I throw it back in auto.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's because I'm not taking that time to practice it on footage that doesn't matter. I do it in the heat of the moment, and you can't do that. Like, and I read this book. It's called Outliers. It's a pretty good book. And it says, in order to become a master of a craft, whatever it is, you have to put forth a minimum of 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. Yep.
Yep. Have you read it, Connor?
I haven't read it, but no,
But
I
you
haven't.
know
But
it.
I know that philosophy.
Yeah, so, and Ryan's always told me this. Every time you pick up a camera, you're only going to get better.
Every time you hit record, you're one step better than you were before you picked it up.
Yeah. So I try to take that mentality every day, and, you know, sometimes I still make mistakes, and that's okay. And maybe it's a shot that I just don't use, or I try to salvage it how I can, or whatever. But I want to kind of slow down, take the time, but also not just learn everything at work. I need to start getting back into that groove of working on projects with Ryan where I can be behind the camera and really challenging myself and getting that extra practice when it's something that doesn't have to be perfect.
I think some of the best practice that you got was when we were shooting Marlowe's Curse, and I was in a lot of that film. So you had to be on the camera, and you were using the Blackmagic, which is a camera that is not forgiving, and you don't have the option for auto. Like you just aren't allowed to use auto because it's a cinema camera, and you know that's not how the industry works. So I think that was like probably your greatest challenge was using that, and I think you grew a lot with that film in particular.
I felt like, though, with the Blackmagic, it's easier.
Interesting.
to get everything in focus. I don't know, like, so recently Ryan switched me over to Canon. I've been shooting Sony for 6 years.
That's
now.
a win for Ryan.
Canon.
Don't get me wrong. I love my Sony A6300. I always will. It was like since I was little, I wanted a professional camera, whether it was mirrorless, DSLR, whatever. I wanted, the real deal instead of the crappy little digital ones that, every kid got. And I purchased that camera in college because I was doing a football podcast and I wanted to take it to the next level. The first year we did it, it was just audio podcast only. The second year that we did it, it was an entire segment on YouTube. So I bought the camera for that reason, and it has served me very well. But today was the first time that I got to use the Canon for work.
And what Canon is it?
The EOS R.
A good
And
camera.
I mean, all I did was shoot a 10-minute interview. And I mean, it was on a tripod, but just holding it, I loved the feel. I loved the picture that I was able to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the autofocus because that's one thing I always felt like Sony would kill me on sometimes, is that it would lose the autofocus.
Right.
And then you can't use that portion of the interview. And sometimes it would take a while to get that focus back.
Yeah.
And you'd have to cover it with B-roll or whatever. So I know I can continue to grow. It's just a matter of getting there and getting back into that groove that I feel like we had before the pandemic, really, of
Right.
going out, taking pictures, taking videos, doing creative things.
And we've started doing that more with Disney. Like we'll go to the parks and take photos. But I this just dawned on me, and I love this. This is my favorite thing. You guys are both using my old cameras.
Yes.
Yeah, but Connor got a Canon first, which is crazy.
Connor doesn't have a Canon.
Oh, what does he have?
Panasonic.
GH4 is Panasonic. It's
Oh.
Lumix.
Mm.
Yeah. Connor's rocking the Panasonic GH4.
That's that thing right there.
That was my old camera, and then
I did shoot my videography reel with that. I did.
Oh,
like
with
that.
the GH4. The GH4 is a great camera.
I
Then
freaking love it.
I had the GH4, and then I wanted to upgrade. I wanted to switch back to Canon because I had been shooting on a 70D forever, and I wanted to switch back to Canon. So I bought the EOS R, and then I took a trip to New York, and I had to do this real quick run and gun kind of thing, and IBIS was the one thing I felt was holding me back because the R didn't have IBIS. So I upgraded and got the R6, and now Janae has the R. Fun times.
Yeah. Just taking all your hand-me-downs.
I gave you a good price.
I'm not complaining. I have been enjoying the crap out of this thing.
Dude, the photos that you've been taking,
Yeah, I've been looking for
Awesome.
more. When are you posting
Awesome.
part 5?
As soon as we're done, part 5's going up.
awesome photos. I really like that landscape one that you sent me last night. You sent me the raw, and you sent me the graded one, and I'm so proud of you. You brought those highlights back in the sky. It looked fantastic.
Don't give me too much credit because I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing with the sliders.
Take the credit. Take the credit.
I'm
take the credit.
give me that credit.
Fake it till you make it. You did. You know what you're doing.
I'm a professional photographer.
He's actually going to be taking all of the photos at his own wedding. That's how
Yes.
good he is.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Are you cloning yourself for that moment?
No, I'm gonna. It'll be a tripod situation with a timer.
No, you're gonna be like, okay, Linda, now kiss the camera.
It's gonna be a POV wedding.
Oh, you'll have a GoPro and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, getting a new camera is always a an adjustment. Even going from the EOS R to the R6, there is a learning curve there. So I'm very proud of you for taking the next step, for going. You've switched from a camera that you've been comfortable with for multiple years, and now you're going outside of your comfort zone. You shot with this camera today, and it wasn't too bad.
I have to go back and listen to the audio. I think it's clean, but
Audio is always the thing that,
I hate audio.
but it is very important.
It is.
But yeah, it's always something that can be tricky, especially with a new camera, because you never really know the preamps inside, so you don't know how clean the feed is going to be. That's why I love the Rode VideoMic Pro and the Pro Plus and the NTG, because it has a gain control on the mic itself, and then you can just take the recording level on your camera, take that sucker way down, and then you'll get a nice clean feed. Learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm ready to be challenged, so push me.
All right, I won't push you.
Give me your knowledge.
Don't give me too much
Just-
credit. I'm not that.
Can you just can we connect via cord and you
You just
you know,
download
like
all
drag
Like
it
Avatar?
over to my brain?
Yeah.
Put your ponytail in her head.
That sounds so weird.
Sorry.
I hated that. I didn't like that at all.
That's what they do. They put their ponytails on stuff, right?
Yeah, they do. On trees and on other ponytails, and that's how they get it on.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah, see? You're the weird one here, because you brought it up.
I did. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, Connor, let's talk about it. How you
Let's
pushing
talk
yourself?
about it.
How you driving yourself?
All right. So I, like Janae brought up, I suffer from like lack of self-confidence, and trying to push myself to do creative things is always a struggle for me. Specifically when it comes to songwriting, I would love to be better at songwriting, and so the way that I'm pushing myself to do so is I'm going to actually sit down and I'm going to actually record a song. I have an idea. I sent it to Ryan. I sent it to you. And it's just the bass line. I want to... Well, see, my issue is I can start a song. I can start a million songs. The issue is I never finish them. Even if it's just like simply writing down the lyrics. I can never write down all the lyrics. I can never complete a song. And so this time I'm going to challenge myself to do that. And what I'm going to do is record it all in my little studio space, which is in my home. And it's something that I have also been struggling to get past. I keep telling myself, like, I need to go to a professional recording studio, and I need to hire a band who are really good at their instruments, and I need to have really, really strong song lyrics, and I need to have the best mics, and I need to have the best everything to actually do the stuff, which isn't true. And we, my fiance Linda and I recently watched the Billie Eilish documentary on Apple TV, which if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it highly, for just the reasons that I'm gonna say. So
Let's watch it.
you watch it.
Add it to the list.
Yep. So basically, if you don't know, they recorded, Billie Eilish and her brother recorded the album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And they recorded that all in her brother's bedroom, just on basic equipment. They had the same exact audio interface that I have.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure he had the same MIDI keyboard that I had too, and then a bass guitar, and then Billie Eilish singing. And they recorded this whole album, and it won like 6 Grammys or something.
That's insane.
It's bananas. You have to watch it.
That's so awesome.
So that was really inspiring to me, just to get past that whole feeling of like, I need to have the best equipment. I need to, be the best or whatever.
Right.
Which isn't true. I don't expect to write a Grammy winning song or anything like that, but I have an idea of a song. I'm going to actually record it in my little office. I bought a bass guitar, which should be here hopefully tonight.
Hopefully.
And hopefully. I've got a great sound library. If I need any other instruments to add for texture, I've got fantastic drum sounds. I don't have an actual drum set, but we'll make do. And then guitar and vocals. I've got a decent voice, I think, for the song.
Yep. Don't. He's got a great voice.
Yeah, you
I've
do.
got a decent voice for the song. I kind of know how to play guitar.
Okay,
And-
stop it. That is not what this podcast is about.
I'm sorry.
He's phenomenal at guitar. He
Thank you.
really is.
I've put more work into playing guitar than I have anything else in my entire life. So it's my entire life.
He taught me how to play.
I taught you how to play, and you're great. So I'm a great teacher.
You are
Is what
you
you're
are
saying.
you are a great teacher. I have severely fallen off the map when it comes to guitar. I used to be a lot better than I am now.
Like riding a bike, it's fine.
Not really.
Like
'Cause
riding a bike.
I don't have calluses on my fingers, and that just kills me every time I pick up a guitar, and I'm like, all right, let's jam, and then I'm like, no, fuck you.
It is kind of scary because, taking it back to what you said about like every time you pick up a camera, you're gonna get better,
Mm-hmm.
or like every time you shoot a video, it's gonna be a step up from what you did last time. In terms of like reading sheet music, I haven't done that in forever.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time I pick up a guitar and try to play sheet music, it's not gonna be better than the last time that I read sheet music. But I mean,
But the point is that you're trying, and that's
Right.
That's
No,
what's
no.
important.
yeah, and it's just like anything else. You gotta just exercise your.
Got to flex them muscles.
I'm actually excited about this song. I think it'll probably take me a while, like these things do. I'll probably have to set it down and come back to it, because if there's one thing that I've learned about songwriting, if you set something aside when you're feeling frustrated and come back to it a day, a week, a month, or a year later, you will have a different view on it, and
Mhm.
you will add something more to it.
That's the exact same rule with editing.
Yeah, for sure.
There have been so many times where I finish the first cut of a film, I play it back, and I'm like, well, I'm never showing my face again. But then you take a step back and you come back to it an hour or two later, and you're like, okay, all right, now that I'm over the initial shock of how awful that was.
So that's where I'm at now.
Real quick, I want to touch on something, because this is I think it's relevant to the conversation. About a year and a half ago, I approached you to
Me?
you.
Oh,
I approached you to come up with a theme song to a film that we were working on, and the film has gone nowhere. Just throwing that out. So you haven't heard this theme song, but
I have.
you have.
You're talking to the audience, not me.
Yeah, you wrote
Yes,
it.
okay. I wrote it.
Um,
I did.
So I distinctly remember you talking about how, because he wrote it, he finished it, it's fantastic. And I remember you talking to me about it, and you said that you love listening to that because you find it like, it's so cool how you just started with a melody and it just grew from there.
Yes.
So is that kind of like, is that how you feel this is going to go? Like, do you think you're going to go down that same direction, or is it going to be a little bit harder?
Harder, I'm not sure, but I am approaching it the same way, which I guess could be cool to like figure out how how my brain interprets songwriting, because like everybody has a specific way of doing it. Some people want
Right.
like just a drum beat so they can feel it, and some people want a chord that they can sing over. I tend to have an idea on guitar mostly, and then branch off from that. So that's exactly what I did for this theme song. Like, and you even helped me write the melody for it. Like, I had an idea in my head. It was too sad sounding. Like, you wanted a big triumphant thing, and I chose some just stupid, like
Well, it was more grim. Like,
it was more grim. It would work in some other context, but not for like a victorious theme song.
yeah, like I was going for like the, the classic adventure movies, like the Indiana Jones style theme song, The Mummy, like that. And, I think that when you first sent it to me, I was like, that works just for a different part of this movie, because that
Right.
was like the big bad theme. Like that was like
Yes.
the Imperial March,
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
Gotta talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, I do want to make it known that like if you are like us at all, and are you don't even know where to start, and you're like, how do I even get this idea that I have in my head down on paper? I want to give you an example, because this is how absolutely basic you can get, because the only thing holding you back from being creative is yourself. And I knew what I wanted with this theme song. Connor started going in the right direction, and there was something missing, and then it clicked in my head. I didn't have a guitar with me. I didn't have anything with me. So I grabbed my phone, went into the sound, what is it called? The
Voice
app?
memo.
Voice memos.
Voice memos,
Mhm.
and I hummed the theme right into the microphone and sent it directly to Connor, and then within 30 minutes he sent it back, and it was exactly what I played.
You can go through my phone. I have countless just tiny little snippets of voice memos of just random ideas that I had,
Yeah.
and hopefully they'll go somewhere someday.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a good place to leave the conversation, because next week I want to talk about how to get started. All right, so we're
that'll be
talking about how to drive ourselves. So we've got projects in the pipeline. How do we get started? Where do you get started? What
Yes.
resources do you need? What do you need to do? There's a lot of different answers.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure.
I think this is a good stopping point for our conversation today.
Yeah.
This went a lot better than the first time.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
But if you are enjoying this, if you liked this, go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching this on the tubes, go ahead and subscribe, because
Yeah.
the other thing that I'm pushing myself to do is make more YouTube videos. I have fallen out of it. I mean, the last thing that I posted on YouTube was Moving Day. That was when we started dating.
Yeah.
It was over 2 years ago. Like,
What is Moving Day?
it
It's
was
the film that was indirectly inspired by me, because I said he had too many toys.
yeah, and
So the dinosaur toys
Yeah.
team up,
Yeah.
yeah,
team up with Annabelle.
yeah, team up with Annabelle.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
It was very creative.
It was
I'll give
Yeah,
him that.
for sure.
It was a fun film. We were in the process of moving, so usually when filmmakers move, it's like, let's make a movie about it.
Yeah.
With this brand change, I feel the format of this channel is going to change a little bit. Not too much. I'm still
Slightly.
I'm still going to post a lot of horror films, but I do want to post a lot of behind the scenes, and a lot of just me talking to you. So if you like that, if you want that, go ahead and subscribe. Southridge Films.
Woohoo!
Do you want to explain where the name came from?
Oh yeah, yes.
Good idea.
Yes.
Good idea.
Let's do that really
Does
quick.
Connor know?
I think so. Do you know?
I'm sure you told me. I
Yeah.
do not remember.
You know, Nautical Films was great. I loved every second that we were Nautical Films, but I felt like it lost its identity, and with this rebranding, I wanted to really infuse not just my identity but Janae's as well into this, because we're working on everything together. So I was trying to come up with a name, and I basically I thought about it, and I was trying to come up with something, and we landed on elk as our logo very quickly because there was a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, one of them was we were working on one of his short films at the time that's centered around the goatman.
Yes.
So, I mean, goats and elks aren't the same, but it just kind of
It fit.
embodied that for us.
Yeah, the mask is right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then it also meant fortitude.
There was a lot about not giving up, just
Yeah.
keep on pushing. Like an elk is a sign of that. So and you know, we love outdoors. You know, we love nature and stuff like that. So we landed on an elk, and I was thinking of like different elk names or something. Like I didn't want to just do elk films, but then I really started thinking about it, and I'm like, I need to infuse my identity onto this. I need to infuse Janae's identity. So I thought about the cities that we were born in, which I'm from South Bend, Indiana, and you are from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Yep. So that's kind of like where the two came from. I was like, okay, so it can either be South Wheat,
South Wheat.
Wheaties.
or what was the other one? Wheat Bend.
Bend Ridge.
Yeah,
Bend Ridge, but you know,
Ridge Bend.
South Ridge is where we landed.
South
you know, and
Ridge.
it worked out perfectly. You know,
Yeah, better than like Fort Myers or.
yeah. I mean, we tossed around a lot of different names, and kind of infusing both of our hometowns is really really cool, and that's where South Ridge Films comes from.
And there's plenty of elk in Colorado, so
Yeah. It makes
it
sense.
fits for my town. I don't know about Indiana, but
There's some.
Some,
At the zoo, I'm sure.
yeah. At the zoo.
I was gonna say
At the zoo.
I really don't think they're there, but
Go see him at the zoo. So yeah, we are now South Ridge Films. You'll be seeing a lot more of this face and a lot more of that face, if she wants to. I don't know.
I'll be in it. Not much face to see when I feel so low over here.
I know. Please, this will definitely not be the final set for this. I will definitely.
Yeah, we're talking about how great we are at video.
Yeah,
and we
and
just
this
really
is-
bombed it right
Wow,
here.
this was last minute. We threw it up, and actually, that is a great point because we were trying to decide whether or not we should record the podcast on video, and at first I'm like, oh, it'd just be easier to not, and I'm like, no, we're talking about pushing ourselves. I'm pushing myself. We're recording this video, so
We're doing it.
I'm
even doing it.
Yeah, Connor's even doing it. So I want to do full on video podcast every single week, hopefully. And we're gonna be we also do another podcast if you want to go check that out. That is Main Street Geeks, where we talk about all Disney stuff
And sometimes Universal.
and sometimes Universal. Ooh, what am I doing? Getting
I
some,
don't know. Getting some
get-
sounds going.
Get my sound. Get
there's
my phone
my
call.
groove.
So I really hope that you are just loving what we're doing here. I hope you enjoyed. And if you're interested, if you want to follow our creative journeys, just tune on in back next week and yeah, be creative, have fun.
Peace.